Namaskar and welcome to Runway 1230. Today's vlog is all about our Korea trip, followed by the older ones. And today we shall be covering few places. Those are the DMZ, which is known as Demilitarization Zone, and which is the line which actually divides the North Korean part and the South Korean part. Followed by two other places, Changgyeonggung Palace, and the second one, Jogyesa Temple. Coming on to the DMZ, the Demilitarization Zone, is one of the most important trip that I would recommend anyone who's visiting Seoul. You cannot do this trip on your own. You'll have to take a tour operator. For us, it was Corridor Tours. The link of the tour operator is down there in the description. One can just take up a subway to either of the stations, Samgakji or the Namgyong, and with just a walk of a few minutes, you reach to the starting point of your day, which is known as the Camp Kim USO. Also to mention, this trip will cost you around $100 and will need almost a whole day. Sharp 7:30, our bus departed from the Camp Kim USO and it arrived to the Camp Bonafis around 9 AM. So it takes quite a bit time because Seoul is not that far from the DMZ, but still it's not that close. So you have to leave the town and reach to the border. Once you reach the Camp Bonafis, you are actually taken under control by one of the US military personnel. He guides you up to one of the auditorium and then gives you a briefing on how to go into go close to the border, the center line, and then he lets you know how your behavior should be, how it should not be. To very particularly mention, when you are on the edge over here in the DMZ, your clothing should be very much in a formal way, if I had to say, because the North Korean soldiers, they always keep taking photographs and then they show it. What they say is they show it to the people over there when, like, if you are going in some either shorts or the rugged jeans or whatever, so they show them by taking the pictures, like, see, those people are actually not so well to do and all those things, so whatever it is. But anyways, there is a standard. You have to be in a formal, good, well dressed, not very well dressed, but then in a formal attire. And then after a very short and very nice briefing from the gentleman, he takes up to the particular borderline, and then here is the first view of the most mysterious land on this planet, North Korea. With the photographs at the forward line, you are allowed to go into the room. This room is basically a conference room where the North Koreans come to a point and then the South Koreans come to a point. North Koreans still stick to the other side of the half, the center line, and the South Koreans over here. So you are actually allowed to go there, and you can say officially you actually put your legs into North Korea. We just came out of the conference room and then back, and then we were taken up to the museum where you can actually have a live video of the borderline. Just before we went, few months ago, there was an incident also, where a North Korean soldier tries to come into the South Korean side, and there is a complete video of the thing that happened over there. There is a museum that shows all the things that happened in the past, so that's a good one to see, and it was really nice it was really a good experience out of all, if I had to say. Once we were done with the DMZ visit, the guide took us to the third infiltration tunnel. This was again an interesting part, but unfortunately I cannot show you what we saw over there because we were not allowed to take up the cameras.
Here in North Korea, so they started to dig into South Korea from north up to the fountain area. So making the total length of the tunnel is about a mile, 1,635 meters. So when you get here, this position almost in the middle of the DMZ. So like I said, here slight dangerous possibility they could go in through this way from north through this way. So to prevent that situation, South Korea government they had installed these 3 blockades from the MDL. This is the first, second, and the last wall. This interception tunnel is quite.
This particular tunnel was of a very low height. A person even maybe 5 foot 3 or 4 inches will have to basically bend and go through the tunnel. Obviously, it will not be easy for people in a row holding up the camera and just shooting. So we couldn't get some shots over there, but to tell you, this particular tunnel was built by the North Koreans so that they could at any time just pass through the tunnel and come up to the Seoul and capture it or like that. So, and then later this South Koreans came to know about this, and then now it is a tourist destination. After the third infiltration tunnel, we were taken up to the Dora Observatory. Dora Observatory is close to the border, where you can actually see one of the town of the North Koreans, which has been named the propaganda town. And as the name, even the place actually, we felt as if it is propaganda village. There are binoculars kept at the Dora Observatory, and you can actually use them to check out the village, and I couldn't find even a single person throughout the town, and it was as if a dead town out of nowhere. Dorasan Station is a railway station which lets the South Korean part connect to the North Korean side. A track actually passes through the station to have some trade deals between the two nations, but which is now closed. And when you see the station itself, you can actually have a feel. We all have heard of the Trans-Siberian train to be the longest route. If the North Korea agrees to let the people live a normal life, train passes from the South Korean side, so that would be the longest rail route. So you can see the map over here exactly when you go into the station. And then to get into platform, you will again need to pay 1000 won as a platform ticket, which you yourself would be stamping it, and then you can check in at the platform. We can go down on the tracks, right? But it's okay. So that's North Korea. And then followed by that, we were headed to our lunch. There is nothing much to try vegetarian. I didn't find much particularly, but then yeah, we had our first kimchi. After that, around 15:30 hours, we were dropped into the town back to Seoul, and of course we couldn't waste our time because you still have the whole day left. No doubt the temperature was freezing and it was going more than like -7, 8, whatever we were not observing at that time, but it was freezing cold. But still we didn't want to waste our day, so we headed up to our next point that day, to the Changgyeonggung. I can just write in the, on the screen. And especially when you go in off seasons to a place, one thing for sure you get is that you are not into the busy tourist mob that becomes really terrific when you are into complete touristy area. At a point when we were in the palace, the floor was completely white, and then it gave us a feeling like as if we are somewhere like in heaven or something like that. So after doing up the palace, we headed up to the Jogyesa temple. It's a Buddhist temple. When we went to the temple itself, I was very much pleased with the environment, with the lights around, and we forgot about the temperature. We were just enjoying here and there. It was really peace. I had really nice time over there. In fact, I would say this is also one part after the DMZ which actually I really liked in Korea. To mention, Jogyesa temple is one of the most important temple in Korea and the South Korea, and it plays a vital role in the Korean Buddhism. If you are in Seoul, I would recommend you to go to this place also. So that's all from us from runway 1230 for now. Do subscribe us and follow us. Namaste.